We know what that means. It means it's Friday. It means it's Free Speech Friday time to talk to a couple of Kiwis who don't mind free speech and saying what they think. And we reflect on the issues of the week. Can I just tell you, it's been all go here this morning. A number of things have come together to make it a challenging, though exciting morning on the platform. And if you're watching on the live stream, I know that you're getting that. We're working on a whole lot of things. We've got a delay with the live stream, all sorts of stuff that we are sorting out as we go along. It's kind of move fast and break it has been the philosophy. Two people, though, joining us now are not broken. My old mate and broadcaster Leah Panapa is on the line out of home in Auckland. Leah, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday.
Nice to have you back. And with her, Maurice Williamson, outspoken Auckland City Councillor. Maurice, how are you?
I'm very well, Sean, and good morning, Leah.
Okay. All right, you two. Let's get into it. And I really, look, just for the irreverence of it, I want to start with, are either of you concerned about the whereabouts of Kate Middleton?
No.
No? No, because I'm reading on X and Twitter that she may have been killed by Prince William. He's had an affair, possibly with a New Zealander. Wrong going on in Britain, and Kate Middleton, and there's mystery Photoshop photos passed you by, Maurice.
Correct. I'm more interested in what Kim Kardashian's under mascara eyeliner is.
Okay, and Leah,
rubbish.
You just don't care about Kate Middleton, a young woman. We don't know where she is or what's been done to her, and you're just willfully disinterested.
I'm not disinterested. I mean, I've read that some the Twitterverse has gone crazy, and everything from she's growing out her fringe, which takes about 3 months, or she's recovering from a Brazilian butt lift.
I did see that theory. Leah, you'll be able to help us out. I don't even know what a Brazilian butt lift is. Can you tell me?
Mike, they're shocking. It took me 3 months to recover from mine.
Well, it's an inject. They inject in your buttocks, Sean, so that you have a.
What do they inject in your buttocks?
I think they take fat, like they'll take fat from your tummy and put it in your backside, and
to make your bum bigger.
Yeah, the last thing I need, but yeah, that's apparently what they do.
I'm just going to move on.
I can see why we're all concerned about this now.
Yeah, I get the feeling we're not taking it seriously. But I'll tell you one thing I think we should take seriously, guys, is that Britain has outlawed the prescription of puberty blockers for gender dysphoria this week.
Yes.
And joins a number of countries around the world who just said we got wildly wacky with surgical and chemical treatments for the mental condition of gender dysphoria.
Good on them.
And we've got to wind that back.
Yeah, agree.
You guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Leah?
Yeah, if you look at the numbers, I mean, I applaud them, and hopefully more countries will come on board. If you look at in say the years 21, 22 in the UK, there were more than 5,000 referrals, and you go back a decade, there was only 250. So you've got a 2,000% uptake. And this is something that was getting out of control.
It's a trend. It's not a trend. It's a lifestyle trend.
It was, and there was not enough evidence, and the NHS has said that there's been no long-term reviews. There's no, so they took an independent review of the gender identity services of children that were being offered, and they've said no, this is not right. As you said, Sean, gender dysphoria. Why are the kids feeling this way? What's the reason behind it? And giving them a puberty blocker is to me is just.
And they said, they won't cause long harm. Will they do?
Yeah, Sean, can I just say that while I was Consul General in the States, it was amazing. You couldn't go to a cocktail party or a function in LA without meeting at least one or two sets of parents who had their children transitioning, and they wanted to discuss it, and it was a big conversation. But if you went to Log Split, Oklahoma, they didn't even know what the hell you were talking about.
Yeah, and it has been a collective madness, you know.
So is that something that's happening naturally? No. Is it something that's being generated by what's the flavour of the month? And of course, you're almost on the outer if you now haven't got someone in your family who's wanting to transition.
Yeah, I hear you. Should we do the same here with the blockers, Leah? Should we ban them here too?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if you look again at the numbers, only 10 years ago, 48 Kiwi kids were taking it. And in, again, 2022, we're up to 416 young people aged between 12 and 17. And the thing like too that scares me, and look, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've tried to look this up, but apparently we've got no minimum age so for prescribing. So if you hit puberty young at, say, 10, these children are eligible, and that and the fear is you speak out about it. In a previous life on another station, we talked about this, before I was shut down, and parents were ringing me and cancelled. Yep, parents were ringing me and they were terrified because they wanted to help their children, but suddenly the kid would come home and go, right, I want to.
I had a meeting with Rainbow Youth today. They say I'm post-colonially oppressed and gay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah, well, that's the way it's rolled. Really. Well, okay, someone's got to put some pressure on the government, and you guys will be interested.
I could have done with some beta blockers when I was having my Brazilian butt lift.
He's going to stick with that all bloody morning, isn't he?
Isn't he? We're going to see a photo.
Isn't he?
Hey, talking about getting cancelled, I had a most bizarre interview with Melissa Lee, who's come out of her shell in the last week and talked to a few people. But her interview, I went back and listened to it. I had no idea what the hell she was on about. And the government, I get the feeling the government doesn't want to bail out the newsrooms that have treated them so badly for so long and the bad businesses that broadcasters are. But there's a little residual muscle memory that they've got that says, we should be nice to them and keep control of them. Maurice, what's the answer here?
Well, as you know, I was broadcasting minister for 9 years.
You were too?
I have a very strong view on this, and that is it's a little bit like sporting codes. There's a governing body who sets the rules, but the players and the clubs and the competition has got nothing to do with the governing body. So the government's there to set up what is a regime in terms of standards and in terms of allocation of frequencies and so on. But to actually be involved in the whose program gets more listeners and how much funding should go if you're not getting your listeners, I think is an outrage. I think it should be like every other business. The market will decide. Frankly, so many of the radio and TV stations are losing customers because they've gone so bloody woke they're not worth listening to anymore. I wouldn't listen to some of the crap if you paid me now. It's awful. And that's simply they're losing customers. Now, if you lose customers, you actually change the product you offer them and get people back, and it can be done elsewhere in the world. There are a whole lot of stations that have dropped the woke attitude and picking up audiences again. For taxpayers to be funding that would be a bloody outrage.
Leah? Mm-hmm. Have you ever worked, Leah, for the government side? I mean, I've had time at Radio New Zealand. I've worked for TVNZ. Have you always been out in the rock and roll world of the private sector?
Yeah, always. I've always been in the been on the outer.
Good on you.
Yeah, and I kind of admire that, to be honest.
Yeah, what Maurice is saying, I agree, and also the fact that, if the government was to step in and bail out, if we're going to use that word, the public now just does not trust. We want an independent, robust media landscape, and then look what happened with the $55 million. That was given out for the public interest journalism fund. That turns people off in their droves. Oh, you bought the media. Whether you want to believe
Leah,
that's true or not.
In fact, more recently than me,
I got criticism.
Yeah, I got cancelled before you. You've worked inside MediaWorks. You're the last one of us.
This was not a who got cancelled first competition.
No.
I know, right?
But I'd be there.
Right?
I even beat Graham Linehan. I'm going to explain that to him a little bit later in the show today when he's on live. But Leah, let's be honest, and you can be now, because your job doesn't depend on it, because at present you don't have one. But what was it like inside MediaWorks, inside that organisation? And was it the government money that made it bent, or was there just a culture of wokeism?
I believe the culture had changed dramatically from I was at MediaWorks for 23 years. So, I was of the halcyon days of being able to put up billboards where we were semi-naked and we made fun of things. And, I worked with Dean Lonergan, Say No More.
Yeah.
Our tagline was breakfast with balls. If I look back, such a good time. And then, in the last 3 or so years, it was just an erosion of being able to speak freely, have an opinion, which was, to me, was so weird because
or even have a different opinion. If you had the right opinion, you were sweet.
Sorry, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And just how managers were tiptoeing around, certain events that were happening or things that were being said. In the end, I was completely left on my own, and no one had my back, although very quietly in hallways would pass me and go, "Oh, I completely back you. I really enjoy what you said was right."
Yeah, but that's the regime, isn't it? You know it, Maurice.
You can say it in my ear, but she won't. Yeah, but she won't stand up and protect me in front of a boardroom or so. Yes.
And Maurice, it's amazing the number of people you would have seen this in politics.
Oh,
privately, they'll back you, but you asked
afterwards and said, "Oh, I'm pleased you said that in the caucus today." And I said, "Oh, well, why didn't you say something?"